Wax poems on Puffin Pole Milk, inspired by Edgar Poe's The Raven. And it is that exact license to appropriate however you see things fit that actually makes all the other spaces we already talked about work, that differentiates them from the cubicle house. As Paul Penfield of MIT put it, it was the temporary nature of building 2, the very fact that it was just as ramshackle as the adventure playground that gave everybody the material license to just basically use and abuse it however you saw fit for your particular needs and purposes. In the same way, the creativity sparked by things like the Pixar headquarters is that in that downstairs room of the animators, it's not just that the room is configurable, but that the room comes with the social license for people, that they can reconfigure it however they see fit, so that an individual animator might discover, oh, there's an air duct next to my office, and if I go into that little air duct, there's actually this little air duct room. They turn that into a love lounge. Right? So to summarize this first portion, if we actually want to create office playgrounds that are true office playgrounds, then the two things that we need, I think, are not necessarily things that remind us, that imitate the surface properties of toys or playgrounds. We need a possibility space of rearrangeable spaces, objects that are manipulable, that are trashable, that allow you to bring your own stuff. And then they have to come with the social license to actually play around with that stuff. Which brings me to social playgrounds. Shifting from the office playgrounds to things like gamification. The idea that we cannot just turn the spaces themselves more playful, but actually the activities, the processes in which we engage. And again, this thing has a very long prehistory. In the early 1950s, the sociologist Ron Roy already worked in one of these drill presses, and his beautiful paper, Banana Time, observed how people, even in this kind of hyper-controlled work environment, managed to find a little space of play in piecework by, as he put it, citing an earlier paper, just like a woman that had just to wrap lamps, in the very fact that she could find a little bit of variation how she would wrap lamps. So set herself a little goal, she finds her scope for initiative, her space for freedom, and in that, a little game to play. And that again then found its kind of echo in the 1990s in the first new economy and things like the fish strategy that then swamped basically the business literature at that place, work makes fun gets done, and today we found it as gamification, and this idea that we can use game design elements in other practices, processes, and systems to make them more engaging. In the office workplace, particularly in terms of employee engagement and in things like resource optimization, like energy saving in the office and things like that. And the basic underlying theory in the majority of gamification applications right now is very much either a behaviorist theory or it is a homo economicus theory. Because the great thing about games is that they give you very clear rules and feedback about everything you do, right? They're data-rich environments, so whatever you do, you get great feedback about it. They're very clear goals, very clear procedures. All of what you do is very clearly incentivized, so that motivates you to do the rationally optimal activity, and so therefore you do the desired behavior. It's basically the engage in this little piece of mechanism design. And if you look across kind of the majority of gamification applications, that's actually the language in their marketing applications that they use, that they say these are basically a new version of reward systems that we can use to nudge behavior into the direction that we're interested in. Now, the interesting thing here, again, is that if you look into reality, that a lot of that starts to crumble. The big issue with gamification taking game mechanics understood as incentive systems into non-game context is again that we're missing out on the context here. This is a recent news story about Disneyland trying to use gamification in Disney World at their hotels, where they try to motivate employees who were folding the laundry to fold the laundry faster by giving them large flash screens where they basically had a leaderboard who folded the most laundry in a period of time. And then when they actually interviewed the workers and say, hey, is this an engaging competition? They say, no, let's get another form of micromanagement. Somebody breathing down my neck. It feels like an electronic whip. And again, that's not anecdotal evidence. We have a series of papers right now reporting back that this kind of mandatory fun in the workplace or with serious games, or a paper I'm presenting tomorrow at Kayak actually the moment where we turn play into work that this kind of thing breaks down. Why does it break down? It breaks down because it fails to observe that play as an activity, as a context, is a voluntary activity by definition. Like the very quality of play, for us to call something play, that we feel, I do this automatically, I do this for its own sake, I do this because I want to do it. And that's actually not just a definitional quality, that is something that explains to us why playing games is a fun activity. It's one of the core things that makes game play, not just games, but game play, fun and engaging. If you look into the currently most well-developed theory of intrinsic motivation, why is it that we do certain things for their own sake? Self-determination theory. Self-determination theory says just in the same way that we have certain innate physiological needs, hunger, thirst, sleep, that we need to satisfy in order to live and flourish, we have certain innate psychological needs that we also need to satisfy in order to flourish as individuals. These needs are competence in the sense that you achieve change in the world, that you grow in your capacity to affect change in the world. Relatedness, the feeling that you are in intimate relations with other people, that you are supported and supporting others, and autonomy, the sense that you are basically in control of yourself, that you agree with, that you congruent from your goals, your identity, your values with whatever it is you're doing at that moment in time. The experience of being autonomous is in and of itself an enjoyable and actually a human necessary experience. And that is something that playing as an autonomous activity gives us. Which turns our standard thinking about things like applied games or serious games or gamification around. Right? The standard theory is games are so fun that people play them voluntarily. So if only we could turn work or other things into something as fun as games, people would also do that voluntarily. Like crowdsourcing, we don't have to pay them. Yay! Whereas to a certain extent, right, I don't say that's completely wrong, because to a certain extent it's actually the other way around. The very fact that playing is a voluntary activity is part of the reason why playing games is an enjoyable activity. Which explains phenomena that one is the same activity, like basically calculating spreadsheets is something that if you do it mandatorily at work, you want to get paid for it, versus in a game like Evil Mind, where it's the same stuff, you're doing exactly the same thing. If you get deeper into the game, you pay for the privilege of engaging in that activity, because it's a self-chosen operating on spreadsheet rather than one that is put upon you. So how can we get out of that? How can we get out of the idea that we just put an incentive system or rule system into something and instead create actually playing as a social situation, as a context, as a certain approach towards the situation that is voluntary, which is the fourth theory I would like to look at that we find in these kinds of implementations. And again, a theory where I would say there is a bit of problematic things here. The idea that you see in a lot of cases that just if we put new procedures into place, we will get new values, we will get new mindsets, we will get new practices in the office space. My favorite example for that comes from the German documentary Work Hard, Play Hard, about the modern work environment, which documents HR consultants that in this case try to help the German public mail system to be more agile, more flexible, more innovative. And the way that they did that, they say, hey, we know another practice in another area that is already agile and flexible and innovative. It's agile software development, right? And we know that agile software development has at its core these kind of values where you put individuals and interactions, over processes and tools, that you put working software over comprehensive documentation, etc. And apart from these principles, it also has certain underlying, apart from these kind of basic points, it has underlying principles like build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and the support they need, and trust them to get the job done. As a kind of enshrined culture of agile software development. Now, agile software development also, if you look into Scrum, has certain actual processes and tools and things like that. Things like the Scrum board, which is this public representation of the information of the software process and how people move through it. And then if you study how these HR professionals actually implement agile software development in the German public mail, you see that they latch on to just those processes. In the end, what happens is all the teams, like just the customer representative team, get a Scrum board, which is effectively nothing else but a performance measurement board with certain numbers as they implement it. And instead of the principles, instead of the lived philosophy of agile software development, right? Self-motivated teams, trust them to get the job done, give them self-determination to do that. You find that you still have at everyday Scrum meeting, which becomes an empty ritual. You have the manager standing literally on one side of the room and the other standing on the other side of the room. The manager looking at the numbers and looking angrily at the team saying, well, the numbers don't add up. I wonder what we should do that. Which is in the very same way that we've talked about physical playgrounds requiring a certain socializing other than just the physical space, reiterates the same point that as designers, we might be able to put these physical things in place, and we might be able to design processes and rules and rituals and procedures uploaded in interfaces if we want to. But again, how that kind of stuff is lived and practiced is something that is very hard for us to design. That depends on the community of people present in the ground. Candy House, a big UK casual game developer, is a beautiful example where, again, you have these kind of playful office spaces all around, celebrated for them across the press. And then if you look into Glassdoor, how people reported how their actually lived practice on the ground, right? People say a lot of micromanagement, big teams, major copycat change of directions, mid-sprint, frequent prolonged crunch, etc. So basically the lived culture in these playful states is the exact opposite of what play would be. Which leads to the question, what are the shared values of play, right? So if the thing that we're missing out with these gameful procedures and these playful spaces is the actual lived practice and value of playing together, what is that constituted by? Where luckily we can look into a bit of sociology. Around and to fool around. But that kind of experimentation and experimentation, which can sort of evolve just into silliness at certain points, is then also